Due to the fantastic support and reception I've received on the last couple of my Contenders videos, I've decided to try and upload an Overwatch Contenders video at least once a week on my channel from here on out. But today, unlike the last couple of weeks, it's time to take a short holiday away from the European region. With the Gauntlet on the horizon, people are starting to evaluate the potential teams that could qualify and perform well at it, with the top teams from the major regions leading the conversation. Bilibili Gaming from China, O2 Blast from Korea, Team Envy from NA West, and Atlanta Academy from NA East all currently sit, or in some cases have finished their regular seasons undefeated, with the North American sides particularly noteworthy heading into playoffs, with Envy having only dropped one map in their regular season, whilst Atlanta Academy finished with a perfect map record of 28-0. That said, the playoffs still stand in the way of the Gauntlet qualification for all of these sides, so how about we take a closer look at our first confirmed Gauntlet team, who in both their regular season and playoffs combined dropped only one map, and quietly could be a really strong side that a lot of people are forgetting about or simply haven't heard of, and that team is the Pacific region's Talon Esports. On Friday, Talon Esports took on Global Esports in the final of the second 2019 season of Pacific Contenders. These are the top two sides from the regular season, but the gulf in class between the two sides was quickly evident. It only took 90 minutes for Talon to destroy their opponents 4-0 and pick up the Pacific crown, consequently becoming the first team to officially qualify for the Gauntlet later this year. And whilst I won't be looking at this series in detail, I would quickly appreciate once again the casting from the Kiwi pair of Avril and Pixie that I thought was professional, insightful and well delivered throughout. Looking back upon the Pacific Contenders season, this level of dominance and strength was nothing new. Looking most recently at their playoff run, after their bye, they defeated Nova Monster Shield comfortably 3-0 in the semi-finals to book their spot in the final. Indeed, whilst the rest of the teams fighting within the Pacific region were quite evenly matched and competitive, as we can see looking at the table, Talon stood unmatched at the summit, beating all of their opponents 4-0 in the regular season, except for one match, which they only won 3-1, taking their map win-loss record to 27-1, and 34-1 if you take into account the playoffs as well, just highlighting how good this team has been, with the irony being that their one map loss that prevented them from having the perfect season came against the worst side in the Pacific region, Jupiter, who failed to pick up a single victory and now have been relegated to trials. This level of dominance isn't exactly new for Talon Esports either, as they've primarily ruled the Pacific region for the past year or so. They won the second 2018 season of Pacific Contenders, and even attempted to break into Korean Contenders by participating in trials at the beginning of 2019, with the side being fully Korean at the time, including the likes of Persia, who has since now joined the Boston Uprising in the Overwatch League. This would prove to be a humbling experience, however, as Talon continued to display a similar form from their third disappointing 2018 season of Pacific Contenders, where they only made it to the quarterfinals. And in Korean trials, they finished 7th, with only one win to their name. What this did do, however, was see the side fully rebuild for the first 2019 season of Pacific Contenders, with Gogura the only player that stayed with the side, as the team became more diverse, bringing in the Taiwanese support duo of CQB and Inin77, the talented Thai DPS player Oputo, and the Korean DPS player Bling and the main tank Moose. Again, for much of this season, they looked like the best team in the region, with many 4-0s and 3-1 victories. They did lose, however, once in the regular season, to Nova Monster Shield 3-2, but they still finished top due to their superior map differential, which saw them have a bye into the semis in the playoffs. Just as they would do a few months later, they efficiently powered through Jupiter in the semis 3-1, before avenging their only regular season loss in the final, as they pounded Nova Monster Shield 4-0, becoming the Pacific region champions once again, and earning them a spot at the Pacific Showdown. The event that brought together the best teams from Korea, just like the Atlantic counterpart, would truly test Talon Esports' competitiveness on the international stage, as another talented Thai DPS player, Patifan, joined the side, alongside the Hong Kong support, Mango Jai. Heading into it though, many analysts wrote them off as a team that just wouldn't be able to play up to the level of the Chinese and Korean sides, and would likely finish 5th or 6th, beside the Australian Contenders champions order, as these teams from the smaller regions simply didn't have access to as many resources or support from OWL organisations available to them, which often sees them overlooked and underdeveloped. It didn't start off well for the side, as they were beaten 3-0 by the second seed from China, the one winner, which sent them into the losers bracket. This resulted in playing LG Yuhuya, despite having a first round bye, were defeated by O2 Blast. LG Yuhuya, as China's number 1 seed, were seen as massive favourites heading into this match, so many people immediately wrote off Talon. Against the odds, however, they brushed the Chinese champions aside, astonishingly 3-0 with a fantastic display that really highlighted that despite not being from a major region, Talon Esports were not to be disregarded and ignored, with Opto in particular showing off his DPS prowess. They would fall in their following series again to the one winner, but this time the score was 3-1, showing they were really starting to compete on more of a level playing field with the Chinese sides. This meant they left the Pacific Showdown in a fantastic 4th place, with such a strong showing, buoying them on to this recent success in this past Pacific Contenders season. Looking back over 2019 so far, hopefully has illustrated how dominant Talon Esports have been within their own region, and how surprisingly competitive they've shown themselves to be when fighting with teams from the other regions as well. The main reason I've made this video is not only to celebrate their achievements, but also to highlight how heading into the Gauntlet later this year, they are not a team to underestimate, particularly in the case of the Western teams who haven't been able to face opponents outside of the Atlantic, with our only initial idea coming from Fusion Uni, who have been severely struggling in Korea despite the success and dominance in North America. Throughout 2019, Talon has shown that one of their greatest strengths as an organisation has been the flexibility and adaptability in terms of running different team compositions within different metas. In the area of GOATs, they were proficient at running the traditional 3-3, looking to Muse to dominate at main tank on the front lines. But at the same time, they were equally able to switch onto more DPS style comps that utilise the brilliant potential of Obito and Patifan. Now following the introduction of 2-2-2, they appear to have transitioned effectively again, with the team looking very comfortable on a Mei Hanzo Paul Port comp. So whatever the meta transitions to by the Gauntlet, following the introduction of Sigma, I reckon they'll be perfectly able to adjust once again and adapt, making them a formidable prospect. Even looking at the players themselves, I think there's some really talented players here, but just because of where they play in terms of region, are being overlooked by other Contenders organisations, and even the Overwatch League itself. Of course, Obito springs to mind immediately as a crazy talented DPS player who was impressed in the past on the big stage for Thailand, the Overwatch World Cup. His fellow compatriot Patifan, while still too young, is an exciting prospect who definitely should remain on people's radars. The rest of the lineup has really left a strong impression on me, with Muse and Gogura consistently playing well at the tank role, was backed up by Mangojai at the flex support, and in particular, Talon's main support CQB has looked really good to me when heroes like Lucio and Baptiste has really supported his team brilliantly. Take into account this team communicates in English, despite having to juggle with 3 different native languages, just furthers their achievements in the Pacific region, as a diverse and talented side, backed up by a great coaching staff featuring the Koreans, Arachne and Yusul, as well as the Australian Face, as well as others, who've all done an excellent job. Having kept an eye on them this past Pacific Contenders season, as well as watching their final yesterday, I'm confident they'll come into the Gauntlet prepared and willing to fight the very best. And whilst I'm not going to say that they are a top team and going to win it all, they should not for 1 second be underestimated or disregarded, as I think they could cause the Atlantic representatives in particular some serious damage if they're complacent and Talon Esports performs up to their potential, which should allow them to represent the Pacific region with pride and dignity and show off their talents to a wider audience that will hopefully learn about the skill that can be found in this often overlooked region of Contenders Overwatch. And with that, we reach the end of my video on Talon Esports, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Be sure to let me know if you're enjoying this Contenders coverage. So if you did enjoy and don't want to miss out, please like, subscribe and follow me on Twitter for this continuing Overwatch Contenders coverage and content. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.